We love food colored green, bell peppers and long string beans, pickles, celery, cucumbers too. All these foods are good for you.
Welcome to Storytime Cooks, where we learn about food through books. Today we're reading Home is Where the Birds Sing. This story is written by Cynthia Ryland, illustrated by Katie Harnett, and is a Beach Lane Books. Home is where you come in from the rain. And we have had a lot of rainy days this spring. You can see they're getting their boots off and they've got their hoods on. And where you have a little nap after a bite. That looks inviting. Take a little rest after they've had it looks like a picnic lunch. What a fun thing to do on a spring day. Home is where you are welcome. And they are all sitting around the table. We would encourage you to plan some meals around your table. It's really nice to have some good conversation while you're enjoying your meal. Home is where someone calls you sweetie or dear or a dozen other names for love. And a lot of great memories are made in the kitchen. This looks like a grandmother and a granddaughter. Maybe she's showing her how to cook some of her favorite things. It is where you wake up and look at pictures on the wall. Pictures that mean something, of people that you love or places that you've been. And where you have blankets. Home is where you freshen up. Or maybe you hide if you don't want to freshen up. We hope you guys will take some baths without too much trouble. This little boy looks like he needs one, but he is trying to avoid it. It is where your friends can find you. Home is where there are stories to tell and stories to hear. Making up stories is a really fun thing to do. So just go around the room and one person starts saying something and the next person can add on to it and continue to go around until you have created a really fun story. It is where your own story starts. Home is where the birds sing. And you'll see some pretty blue eggs in this nest. And you might look outside and find some eggs in a nest at your home. And where the moon shines on you at night. And there's some pretty orange flowers. It is where you will run if you ever need to run, and where you will find the door wide open. It's your safe place. Home is where everything waits for you, waits for you. Waits for you, all your favorite things. And when you come back from anywhere, it is where you still will feel at home. So they've gone lots of different places, and when they come back, it still feels like home because you are. Well, this is a sweet story about home. And for many of us, homes are where we start planting our gardens. So I brought a picture of dirt today. And this dirt actually already has something growing in it, or has grown something in it, and it's sweet potatoes. So it's not quite time to harvest those yet. This would be something that would be left over from last year. But we're really lucky that we can keep foods from season to season, but it is time to start some new ones. And sweet potatoes are a really yummy vegetable. When we think about my plate, we always try to think about having more on this side, and sweet potatoes might be something you would like to try. So our recipe today is going to be for sweet potato fries. So we took this sweet potato and sliced it up. You can slice them however you like. The smaller or thinner they are, the faster they're going to cook. and we put some oil on the sweet potatoes. You could use olive oil or vegetable oil, whatever kind of oil you might have, and then some seasonings. This particular recipe has some different seasonings in there. It has some curry and some cumin. They're a little bit spicy, but they are delicious and smell really good. And then you just roast them in the oven until they get done. You could also put these in an air fryer. So that might be a quicker way to do it, and you wouldn't have to turn on your oven, which in a few months or weeks maybe, we wouldn't. That would be a plus because we wouldn't heat up our homes. In the summertime, it's a good idea to use those small appliances so you don't get a lot of extra heat from that oven. But if you did want to do them in your oven, that works perfectly fine as well. A lot of times kids will enjoy a sweet potato fry more than they will the whole sweet potato. One fun thing that you can do is once you slice the sweet potatoes up, stick those down in a Ziploc bag and put all your seasonings and your oil in that, and then let your kids kind of massage or coat those sweet potatoes with the oil and the seasonings in that plastic bag. They can just run it around in there. Dump those out onto your cookie sheet or into your air fryer basket, and that's a great way to be able to cook without having to have another dirty bowl. So just some little hints to make life a little bit simpler, and it will allow you more time to go outside on these beautiful spring days and get some great physical activity and have some fun with your family. We hope you'll come back and join us again next week for another segment of Storytime Cooks, where we continue to learn about food through books.
We love food colored green, bell peppers and